Thank you for bearing with us through technical difficulties. If you don't know who I am, my name is Asia. I'm from Massachusetts. I've been in the business for a year and 1 month, basically. And tonight I'm here with my upline, Rachel, who, if you don't know Rachel, she's the shit. She's literally the smartest person I know. She taught me everything I know. And she's not going to say this when she introduces herself, but this girl just got engaged tonight. So if we can show her some love in the chat for being a fiance. So Rach, I'll let you introduce yourself before we get started.
Yes, that didn't increase my nerve level at all. Thank you. Hello, hi, how are you? My name is Rachel. I use she, her pronouns. I've been working with Monty for almost 2 years now. I am engaged. And I am very excited to be here. So thank you for spending some time with us. And I hope that everyone has some fun. So with that, let's get it going.
Let's get it going. So really quick, I just want to go over what all we're going to be talking about. If you don't have a pen and paper, or whatever you take notes on, now's the time to go grab that, because this is a very information heavy training. We're going to talk about language, how we describe curls and curly hair. We're going to talk about different hair types and protective styles. Rachel and I are going to show you the quiz that we use for our potential clients. It's a little different. We added a lot of questions to learn more about people's curls, since that was most of our client base. We're going to go over not every single product, obviously, that Mani has, because wow. But we're going to go over like the major ones that we use the most. We're going to do some live examples of recommendations and give you guys some practice with that. So we want to leave the bulk of the training to do that with you guys, so you can get some practice, and then we'll go over other tips and tricks, and we'll do questions. I literally, a lot of you guys put questions on my Instagram too, which is great. I think we're going to cover a lot of those questions in this training. But as we go along, and especially when we do the recs, you guys are probably going to have a bazillion questions. Write them down, save them for the end. We'll try to leave 10 or 15 minutes to answer as many as we can. And the only other thing I was going to say as like a disclaimer is, like, obviously Rachel and I both have curly hair, despite the fact that we just happen to have straight hair today. And, you know, the knowledge that we're sharing, Rachel is like my mini science nerd in like my back pocket. So she has a lot of great knowledge about the actual ingredients, and both of us just have knowledge based on our VIPs and the fact that most of my VIPs are curly girls. So that's the agenda. And so we're going to get started and take you guys through. Rachel's going to start with language.
Okay. So I think that based on everyone's experience, however long you've been in the business, any words that you see on the screen, you've probably seen them all before. But we just want to chat a little bit about how to describe curls and how not to describe them. So words that are great to use: curly, coily, kinky, super curly, wavy. Words that we want to avoid: ethnic hair. I see this all of the time. The reason why we want to avoid it is because ethnic hair does not only describe curly hair. When we are talking about an ethnic group, that is any single human who is a part of a social group that shares a common and distinctive culture, religion, language, the like. So I could say that a group of folks who identify as Catholic have ethnic hair. So just put that into perspective, okay? Mixed hair. I've seen this a little bit lately. I don't really know what that means. But that's like not, I don't know. That's just not how you would describe curly hair. When I originally saw this, I was like, mixed hair, does that mean like when my hair is normally curly, sometimes in the back part of my hair, it's like 3B, and then in the front, it's like 3A, and then like some parts are like, you know, 3 whatever. I was like, is that what they're talking about? But not really a way to describe curly hair. Nappy hair, not a great way to describe curly hair. Black hair, Not a great way to describe curly hair. Not everybody who has curly hair also has the color black hair. Nicolette has black hair. I have black hair. Gina has black hair. Like I'm literally looking at the people that I see on my screen. It's like it's a color. It's not to describe a curl pattern. And then good hair. Okay, we all know our girl Beyonce, Becky with the good hair, right? When I was a kid, so I'm biracial, identify as black and white, and all my family on my dad's side used to say I have good hair, and it's like not great to describe curls, either like good hair or bad hair. Good hair is healthy hair. Good hair is healthy hair. Cool. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, so this is, I don't know if you guys have seen this before, like put a 1 in the chat if you've seen a curl chart like this before, but curl charts are used often to describe curly hair types, although it also includes straight hair types, which you can see from row 1. And this, like, I also just want to say, like, this is from Google. You can find a lot of different versions of this chart. It's more of like a guide. It's not black and white. It doesn't mean that everybody has to look like the girl in the bottom left corner to have 4A hair. That is not the message I'm trying to send. But Rachel talked a little bit about, she used the words 3B and 3C and 3A, and this is what she is referring to when she's describing her curls in that way. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. I just wanted to show this to you. This is literally available on the internet. So if you want to download it and study it, go for it. The next thing I just want to quickly cover is protective styles. I'm, again, not going to spend so much time here because I want to just emphasize that this is like 101. Like, we cannot go into all the depths of the diversity of curly hair in one training, but I do want to touch on this because it's going to come up when we do rec examples. So protective styles can be anything: box braids, knotless braids, cornrows, twists, wigs. All these styles can be categorized as protective styles. These styles can last, I put 1 to 8 weeks, but truthfully, they can last up to 12 weeks, and in some cases 16 weeks, depending on the style and the hair type. So why do people wear protective styles? I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. For me personally, number 1, it's cute, obviously. Number 2, when you have curly hair, this is just my personal experience, but having curly hair and having to manage and manipulate curly hair and keep it healthy takes a lot of work. It takes more work than maybe somebody with straight or wavy hair has to go through to keep their hair protected. So by wearing a protective style, like I'm scheduled to get braids next week, those are gonna stay in for me for at least 2 weeks. And like, it's just a relief that for 2 weeks, I don't have to freaking do my hair. But again, those aren't the only reasons. These are just some of my reasons, but they're generally just called protective styles because while curly hair is in these styles, you're not manipulating them as much. Your hair has time to grow and those sort of things. Things to consider for people who wear protective styles is, first of all, in some situations, like if it's braids and stuff like that, your scalp may be exposed. And the reason I say this is because just like when our hair is out in the environment, right? We talk about how it picks up like dirt and all that shit. Like, sorry if people have babies and children, I am uncensored. But that's what happens to your scalp too when it's exposed from protective styles. And so we have to just keep that in mind in terms of what we're recommending people, which is another reason why I always recommend Rejuvenique, but we'll get there. But I just want to point that out. Product buildup happens here. If you're leaving a style in for 8 weeks, that means you're not washing your hair for 8 weeks, which is my next bullet: long periods without washing. This is so normal, especially for girls with curly hair. And when that happens though, like if you go 8 weeks without washing your hair, but maybe you're laying your edges or I don't know, oiling your scalp, eventually you're going to get product buildup. And so we want to keep that in mind, because when our hair comes out of protective styles, no matter how long it's been in protective styles, you're going to need a deep cleanse, and it's going to need love and moisture and all the things times 10 that it would need if you were washing once a week. So like I said, this isn't all the things on protective styles, and we'll talk more about wigs at the end, but this is just an overview for you guys. And now we're gonna go into our hair quiz.
So Asia and I had a long conversation about this a little bit before the summertime last year, and it was really challenging to do recs for folks with curly hair because we simply weren't asking the right questions and we weren't asking enough questions. So we edited the quizzes that we send out to people. So we want to just give you some of those highlights right now. And we're happy to send the links to our quizzes so you can quite literally copy and paste the questions that we have. We encourage you to do that because this is going to make recommending products 400 million times easier. So something that we added was a question, what are you currently using? This is going to give you insight into what that person is trying to do with their hair. And so that's going to give you, a leg up on styling product. It's going to give you a leg up on treatment products, but also it's going to give you a leg up to take their word for, oh my God, maybe I hate my products, and you don't want to recommend anything that they're currently using. And I'm pretty sure everyone has like, what's your hair type and what's your hair texture?
Yeah, I would just add for what you're currently using. For me, just because before I found Money, I was using so many different things, and I'm sure we can all relate to that, whether you're curly or not. Like pre-Money underneath our sink was like 50,000 different brands. And so for me, because I've had the experience with different hair care brands trying to find something that worked, if I see someone that says like, oh, I'm using Shea Moisture, or oh, I'm using Cantu, just because of my experience with those brands, I'm able to like just gain better insight into the types of products that they like to use, because I know that if I use Cantu, like my shit's gonna be like greasy or like whatever. I don't know. That's just an example. But okay, sorry, Rach. Here's your next one.
I wasn't going to name drop any other brands because
I know, sorry, I wasn't trying to.
recording, but okay. And then the next thing that we added was porosity level. So this is something that is either I just don't see it in quizzes, or it's not something that's widely known unless you do some background research on it. So porosity level is basically the way that your hair holds water and moisture. So if you have low porosity hair, you probably are prone to buildup. It probably takes forever to get your hair like wet in the shower. If you have normal porosity hair, you don't typically have like a lot of maintenance issues. You hold the style well. If you have high porosity hair like me, your hair doesn't retain water easily. It doesn't retain product or moisture easily. You probably need to layer your products a lot. It gets dry. It tangles easily. It's very frizzy. Sometimes it doesn't have a lot of shine. So this is important in terms of understanding hydration versus moisture, which we're going to get into, but also recommending styling products as well.
Okay, so this is, and just to point out, like you guys can see some of our questions are required to answer, obviously, and some aren't. So anything that's related to curls are not required for the VI, for the potential to answer in case they're not a curly girl. So this question, if your hair is curly, like what are your curl goals? We added this because I feel like a lot of times we're obviously trying to get the client the best product, right? And so we'll see a picture of somebody and see their quiz and have an idea in our head of like how their curls can transform, or like what their curls might look like when they transform or repair the damage. But like our idea in our head may not be what they're going for. And anybody who's curly on here can tell you, like, I don't know, I just feel like curly girls are way more picky and specific about their hair, and because a lot of work goes into it. So we put this here just to say, like, what are your goals? Like, do you want your curls to be more defined? Do you want them to be elongated? Like, what are you going for? Because it might be different than what I think you should go for, if that makes sense. Do you chemically treat your hair? I want to call this one out just because a lot of, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds of this, but basically some curly girls, when I was younger, I had a relaxer in my hair, a chemical relaxer to get rid of my curls. Biggest regret, wish I never did it. But it happened. It was a phase that we went through because whatever, racism. That's like a high level reason. But my point here is, if somebody has a chemically relaxed hair, or they're transitioning, which I don't know if you guys have heard this term before, but transitioning basically means you had chemically relaxed hair and you're trying to get your curls back, but you don't want to chop off all your hair and start from scratch. So like maybe from here down, it's chemically straight, but your new growth here is your natural hair. And eventually over time, you want all your hair to be natural again. That's what transitioning means. If you have someone who is transitioning, their hair is going to need a lot more love just through that process. And then natural is just you have no chemicals, you have your natural curls. We have the protective style question in there. Do you wear protective styles? If so, what do you wear and how often do you wear them? Because that's going to change our rec, which we'll talk about. And then here you see we have the curl chart question. So how do you what do you interpret your curl pattern to be? We have like a very clear little cartoon here for people, so if they've never seen this question before. And the one thing I want to point out with this is Rachel said this earlier, she alluded to this, but people's curl patterns, it's not like a black and white thing, it's like a gray area. So like literally this side of my head is a different curl pattern than this side of my head. It's always been that way. I just noticed the other day that my mom has the same thing, so I feel like it's hereditary, but I'm not sure. But the point is, people might have more than one curl pattern on their head. So don't be surprised if that happens or if they click more than one thing. We want to understand, like, we put the other box for people to say, like, in the back, my curls are like a 4B, but in the front, because of all the straightening I've been doing, it's like a 3A. So that is like very normal, and just wanted to call that out.
Okay. Again, I think we all have, do you color your hair on our quiz? We have the scalp question. For your questions, try to make them as accessible as possible. So someone could have dry hair, or I'm sorry, a dry scalp and an oily scalp. So allow it to be clickable instead of just selecting one option. If it's a yes or no question, you can make it just one option because it's yes or no. Do you color your hair, yes or no? But if you do that, add an other section, because sometimes people will say, well, I colored my hair 14 years ago. Happens, okay? How often do you wash your hair? Every day, 1 to 2 times per week. I would add 1 to 2 times per month. I would even go so far as to add 6 more options that are not on here. 1 to 2 times per 6 months, like, or just add an other section. If you don't want to add multiple bubbles, please, please, please add an other section and allow people to explain what their wash timing is. Because like what Asia mentioned with protective style, she's getting braids next week. She doesn't have to worry about doing her hair for 2 weeks, right? So maybe she's not going to wash her hair for 2 weeks. Cool. I'm jealous, Asia. So that would be something that you want to make sure you're allowing people to indicate on their quiz, so you have all the information possible to recommend them the right products for them. Something that we added on the quiz, which is like a little bit like risque, I guess, for some people, is, do you experience shedding, right? There's always that dichotomy between shedding and hair loss, 2 totally different things, okay? But we want to know what people are experiencing when they're washing their hair. So if they're currently losing a lot of hair in the shower, and that doesn't necessarily align with how often they're washing their hair, because if you're only washing your hair once every 2 weeks, you're going to lose a lot of hair in the shower. Duh, you're losing 100 strands per day. But if that doesn't necessarily align, you can take that information and roll with it. Okay, so make sure that you add that question to your quiz as well.
Me?
After washing, blow dry, air dry, styling with straightener. You can put hot tools if you want. The one thing that I want to highlight here is the concerns. So make sure you have check all that apply, but also we added balance and oily scalp. We want to make sure we add that because we have the new apple cider vinegar line, but also we want to know if people have that as a main concern. And also tangles and knots. And then I think the other one that we added was it itchy?
It was the product buildup one.
Oh, product buildup, thank you. Was product buildup. So consider adding those ones to your concerns as well.
Yep. And the only other thing I was going to say is, again, Rachel and I are just sharing what has been working for us. If this quiz is making you think like, oh, I should add this and other things, like ball out, like add what to your quiz, what you feel like your potential clients, what you need to know about them. And that may be something we haven't included here. So just keep that in mind. We are like nowhere near like the expert people in all this. So just a disclaimer. Oh, this is
I
you too, Rach.
realized
Sorry.
I stole one of Asia's slides.
I don't know what we're on, but just do this one. You got it.
Okay, so if you don't already ask people if you or if they have any allergies, please do, because some of our products do contain various nut like extracts in them. So I think one of the questions that someone asked on Asia's Instagram was, do you automatically just recommend the Super Nourish line for folks who are curly? The answer is no. One, because we're going to get into that with the Rex, but two, if someone has a nut allergy and they also have curly hair, they can't use the Super Nourish line. They can't use the Super Moisture Mask. They can't use the Unknot Detangler. All of that has nut extracts in it. So make sure that you are asking people if they have allergies. Also, it's probably a good idea to ask if anybody in their household has a nut allergy, because not all the time do you just consume something and it gives you an allergic reaction. Sometimes it's airborne. So if you have someone in the house with a nut allergy and you open up a Super Moisture Mask, you could be giving that person an allergic reaction. So you just want to make sure that you're covering all of your bases and protect everybody in the family, because we're Monate, we're a family. So protect everybody in the family.
Okay, this is, you guys can take a quick picture of this because this is the part, this is like right after this, we're going to go into the practice Rex. These are like our starting 16 or whatever. Like I said, these aren't the only things we recommend for curly girls, but these are the big ones that we are recommending often and that we will use for the rec practice. So Rach is going to go through shampoos and conditioners real quick, and then I'll go through treatment and styling.
Yeah. And I just want to address one thing in the chat. Dahlia said that she's allergic to nuts and doesn't have a reaction to the products that contain them. So yes, like it's important to ask and then you follow up, because some people will say they're allergic, but it's fine. I can totally use it. It's only like 1% chance that I get a reaction. Okay, so that's the whole point of the question. That's it. So for shampoos, we normally recommend these like handful. Renew is great for folks who have thick to medium hair or dry scalp, normally for folks who have 3A to 4C curl patterns. However, Renew is also great for people who may have straight hair, or Renew is great for people who may have fine hair. I have very thin hair and I like live by Renew. I love it. So it really is dependent on what the person's preference is for how they want their curls to look, just like how Asia mentioned before. Advanced hydration shampoo, I feel like gets a bad rap sometimes. People are sometimes like afraid to recommend it for folks who have curly hair, but I also love advanced hydration shampoo. It's for girls or guys or human beings who have hair that just needs a drink of water, okay? And oftentimes we don't really know the difference between hydration and moisture. So hydration is referencing the inner layers of your hair. So like the first and the second layer, that's hydration. Water is the only thing that's going to hydrate your hair. Okay. Moisture is referencing the oils that are going to give a protective film over the hair. I'm not talking about buildup, but I'm talking about a protective film that goes over the hair shaft that prevents water, that prevents hydration from leaving the inner shafts of the hair. So all hair needs both. You need hydration and you also need moisture. When you go back to porosity, if you have low porosity hair, the cuticle layer, which is the top layer that goes up and down like shingles on a roof or scales on a fish, low porosity hair is like really tightly closed. High porosity hair is super wicked open. So high porosity hair is going to need a ton more moisture to seal that cuticle layer and protect the hair shaft from letting hydration out of the inner layers of the hair. Does that make sense? I know that was kind of like a lot of information, just like word vomiting at you, but I hope that makes sense. Okay, Super Nourish for moisture, softness, 3B to 4C not suitable for nut allergies. Like I mentioned before, it does have nut extracts in it. The purifying line, the apple cider vinegar line, this is really great for removing buildup. If you're not washing a lot, this is going to be something that's really helpful to get all of those like styling products or treatment products or whatever you're using off of your scalp. Same with black 2-in-1. Really great to get rid of buildup, but that it has that added growth. So if someone has in their rec that they have buildup, but they also are looking for growth, you're going to want to recommend black 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. Okay, moving on. Conditioners, smoothing deep conditioner, great for frizzy hair. It does define curls. It's great for all hair types, not just for curls. Intense repair conditioner, I think, is what we often recommend for folks with curls other than Super Nourish. However, this can be so drying, like literally so drying. If you've ever used intense repair conditioner and you've felt that over time it dries your hair, please put a 1 in the chat to tell me that I'm not alone. Okay. So just be mindful of that. This could be a first rec, and then your second rec, we can switch to a different conditioner, okay? Super Nourish, kind of touched on it. Great for moisture, for softness, curl definition. Again, not suitable for nut allergies. And Restore Leave-In Conditioner, it's a great first step. Sometimes it doesn't provide enough moisture for tighter curls. Also, low porosity folks, be mindful that this does have a little bit of extra protein in it. So if you are protein sensitive, you may not agree with Restore Leave-In Conditioner on a regular basis.
Perfect. Thanks, Rach. I also just want to like level set everybody because we started a little late. We'll probably need to go until about 8:15. So I just wanted to put that expectation out there for people to adjust or do whatever you need to do. So for treatment, you guys know from my VIP training, everybody gets Rejuvenique oil, legitimately everybody, if not on their first order, on their first flex ship. Rejuvenique oil does a lot of great things, as we all know, but specifically related to curly hair, it obviously helps to promote that healthy new growth. And then it's great for scalp moisturizer. Like, so if also, I'm seeing a lot of other curlies putting stuff in the chat about your experience. Please continue to do that because it's so helpful. And if anybody who's ever had protective style braids or whatever, you know that after a week of having braids, like your scalp starts to get a little itchy, a little dry. You've been exposed to the universe. Like you need to grease up your scalp. And when I was a kid, we used like literal grease. I don't even know. It was like black. I think it was like castor oil, but like now I use Rejuvenique. It's great. It's not only going to moisturize the scalp, but it's going to promote that growth while it's in the protective style. Hair transformation mask, the literal goat after Rejuvenique. Great for repairing damaged curls and severely damaged curls. And a lot of people are asking about the intense repair conditioner thing and when to use that versus whatever. If I have a potential customer who, you know, has a lot going on, right? They want damage repair, they're dry, they're frizzy, like literally they've checked every single box on the major concerns list. I'm not going to, we all know that the transformation for your curls to be repaired is a long process, right? And a lot of people, when they receive our products, they want to see like results right away. We all know that's unrealistic, but that's just how the story goes. So what I'll do is I'll prioritize the shampoo and conditioner to something that they're going to be able to see faster, like smoothing for the frizz or renew for the dry scalp. And then I'll use hair transformation mask on the first order for the damage repair, to start that repair instead of intense repair conditioner. Hopefully that makes sense. But hair transformation mask is great. Replenish mask is great for like medium thick, thirsty hair looking for hydration. This can also be drying if it's used too often. I mean, I know we compare this to like, it has a lot of protein in it. It's like a keratin treatment. So we know too much protein can dry us out. So just keep that in mind when you're recommending Replenish. Super Moisture Mask is amazing. I know a lot of people use this, even if you're not curly. But a lot of my VIPs love this, especially in the winter, because it's going to give their hair the moisture and curl definition. Especially my 4A to 4C girls, they like dye over super moisture mask. And then Intense Repair Treatment Spray. It's great for thinning and balding. I didn't put this on here because obviously, as we all know, we are not here to address medical concerns, but there is a condition called alopecia. You can look it up and learn about it, but essentially it's like a form of hair loss, and Intense Repair Treatment Spray is not going to cure that. However, I have recommended Intense Repair Treatment Spray for people going through alopecia, and it's helped them. So I just want to say that as a disclaimer. Don't want to put it on here because y'all not about to sue me. Flexible hold gel for style. Okay, now we're going to styling. Flexible hold gel is great. I got a question on my IG asking if it like makes your hair crunchy. It actually doesn't. I actually hated gels before I found flexible hold gel. Really great for curl definition. But a lot of people are kind of afraid of it, especially curlies, because they don't want their curls to be crunchy. I haven't had that experience, but it's personal preference. Curl cream versus air dry cream, the big question that I always get, and that we're still figuring out ourselves. But this is what I'll say about these two things. And Rachel's going to chime in here because science. But I prefer air dry cream. That's just me. It's my personal preference. Both air dry cream and curl cream, I have heard people use them as a leave-in conditioner. I've heard people use them as a leave-in conditioner, especially the people who feel like Restore isn't enough moisture for them. So if I know that I have somebody with high porosity, I still mix those up, Rach, but you know what I'm saying, but their hair dries really quickly, I think that Restore might not be enough for them. I'll go straight to air dry cream or curl cream. I use air dry cream if I'm like on the go, I wash and I'm throwing up in a bun or I'm putting in braids, like that's my go-to. Curl cream, I'm coming around to her. She's not for me. Rach can touch on it a little bit more, but I have curlies who love it. And I'll let you chime in here, Rach, before I go on to Moxie Mousse.
Okay. I'm going to do this really, really quickly. If you want to know the ins and outs of this, please DM me or text me on the side and I will go into so much depth about this, but I'm being mindful of time and I want to spend a lot of time on the rec. So the reason why some people like curl cream, some people like air dry cream is because of the top 5 ingredients. So if you look at anything like curl cream, if you look at anything like the Re-Sculpting Taffy or the Mousse or the Flexi Hold Gel, all of those products are going to have a polyquat. They're like polyquat 72, polyquat 10, polyquat 3, polyquat 32, like whatever. There are literally so many of them. But the point is it's like an alternative to a silicone, and it's a positively charged polymer, and it basically sticks to the damaged sites of your hair. So it's going to make your hair feel smooth and soft. But if you use it too much over time, it can build up, and that's going to result in flatter, less lively curls. So that's not the case for everybody, but it depends on your porosity. It depends on if you are doing chemical treatments and if you're transitioning. So for me, when I first started using Monat, I had so much damage from my keratin treatments. I tried curl cream for the first time, and because it was sticking to all of the damage, it didn't have the curl defining effect that I thought it was going to have. It just made my weird, like wavy keratinous hair look weird and crunchy. Like I'll probably like have to send a picture or put it on the internet so you can see, but I just wasn't a fan. Now I use it because my curl pattern is back and now I like it. So it really is up to preference, but look at like the ingredients on your styling products. If there are polyquats in there, it's going to help with curl definition because it's a positively charged, it has positively charged polymers in it, and positively charged ingredients are going to stick to negatively charged damaged hair. That's what I have to say.
Science. Yasmin, I see your question. Who would be the ideal candidate for curl cream? I'm going to answer this really quickly and then we're going to move on and we'll do questions at the end. This is my personal practice. I don't really F with her, so I don't really feel comfortable wrecking her all the time. I always start with Restore or air dry cream because I've never had not that I can think of, Restore, definitely. I've never really had a bad review about air dry cream from my VIPs, but I have had them about curl cream or Restore. So it is hard to say, but it's trial and error, which we know. Moxie Mousse is wildly underrated. I don't know what they what this new bottle does to it, but it's even better now and it's legit. And we know stuff on the shelf. We know mousse on the shelf can make your hair crunchy and like stuck. Ours doesn't do that, obviously. So highly recommend, especially for doing styles like twist outs or braid outs or things of that nature. If you're getting out of the shower and you're trying to manipulate your curls to do a certain thing, Moxie Mousse is great. And then Re-Sculpting Taffy. I have a lot of short-haired curlies, like 1-inch hair, who love Re-Sculpting Taffy as like a leave-in and a styler. I love it for them. And then also for edge control. So wanted to point that out as well. Okay. We are now, sorry, I'm just checking the chat. We're going to move to rec examples in practice. So quick disclaimer before we start this. If you've been taking any content of the training so far, love that for us. For this part, please refrain because the examples that we're showing you guys are either current VIPs, some ladies are from my team, which I'll call them out. And actually some are potential VIPs who I'm trying to manifest into like finishing their checkout. So I just don't want their information to be on blast. And what we'll do is we're going to show you the rack. It's going to have all the answers from the hair quiz. I want you guys to like take a minute. I can play like Beyonce for 60 seconds, or you guys can just take a minute. And I want you to try to make a recommendation based on the picture and the information we've gone over today and what's in the quiz results. We good? Put a 1 in the chat if we're good with that and we're all on the same page and we're ready to make some recommendations. Okay, here we go. Here we go, here we go. All right, this is Erica. This is Erica's quiz results. She's currently using Pantene, wavy curly hair type, medium thickness. Porosity level is normal. Not sure about her curl pattern. If I was gonna make an assumption from this picture, which I don't really like to make assumptions, but I would mark her at a 3A. That's just me. Her curl goals are wavy curls without having to use rollers. She has natural hair. She wears protective styles 1 to 2 times a year, so not a huge concern in my mind. She does color her hair, washes 1 to 2 times a week. Dry scalp, experiences shedding. Main concerns are to control frizz, intense hydration for dullness, dry scalp, and thicken and add volume. For all of our recs, we have shampoo, conditioner, and a styling at least. But I want you guys to drop some ideas in the chat. Like I said, I'll give you a minute to ponder it over. And I just want to see what y'all are coming up with. Renew, smoothing, leave-in. Renew, smoothing, air dry, oil. That's an easy one, oil. Renew, deep oil. I like these. I mean, I think also another disclaimer is every rec isn't black and white, right? So we're going to share what we ended up recommending for her. But it doesn't mean that the things that you guys are saying are necessarily wrong. But I love all these answers. Okay, so in the interest of time, I'm going to share the results. So we recommended Rejuvenique oil every time. That's like an easy one. Everyone should have that in their rec. Renew, intense repair conditioner, and air dry cream. So everyone's probably confused because we just bashed intense repair conditioner for like 3 hours. So I understand she wants to control frizz. However, with the color damage and the curl repair, Sasha, our IRTC helps with frizz for sure. We were prioritizing the damage repair in this situation. Air dry cream, because I just feel like it's more moisturizing than restore, and she needs hydration and moisture right now. Rach, I don't know if you want to add any comments to this.
Yeah, one super quick one. What I didn't mention when I was talking about air dry versus curl cream, air dry in the top 5 ingredients has glycerin. Glycerin is a natural humectant, and humectant is what attracts water or moisture from the air to your hair. So if you need hydration, if someone's hair is like wicked dry, you're going to want some sort of ingredient, top 5, that's a humectant to attract water.
Yeah. Someone asked, did she feel the conditioner was drying? Low key, this girl has not converted yet. I'm manifesting it by putting her in this training. So I'll let you know. But most times when I get the response that IRTC is drying, it's after a while. Like most people, when they first use Intense Repair, they love it. The smell is like in the shower, you feel like you're in some sort of like spa or something. Like off jump, people like it. It's just over time, if you don't adjust it, that's when it becomes drying. So I want to clarify that. Okay, rec number 2.
Okay, so currently using Living Proof. Hair type is curly, texture is medium, porosity level is normal. Curl pattern is 2C, but normally it's 3B. She's using keratin. She's been using keratin literally for years, one of my college girlfriends, but she doesn't want to do keratin treatments anymore. She wants her curls back. She wants more defined and hydrated curls. She colors her hair, washes 3 to 4 times a week. Her scalp is oily, sheds a lot, just air dries after the shower, doesn't use heat, wants to take care of tangles and knots. She wants to thicken and add some volume, maintain her color because the products she's using now kind of strip her color away, and repair the chemical damage to get her curls back, no allergies. So go ahead, put some stuff in the chat that you think you would recommend for Alyssa.
Someone asked about restructuring. We are going to touch on that entire line before we end this call. So don't worry about that. Oops, sorry, I share the results. Nobody look. Okay. Renew, Intense Repair, Transformation Mask Oil. Love that, rec. Hair Transformation Mask, yes.
Oh, also just a quick note, hair transformation mask and super moisture mask, also not allergy, like nut friendly. New Intense Repair, hair dry, transformation mask.
Okay.
Cool.
This is the answer.
This is the answer. So we did Rejuvenate Light, because you need Rejuve in every order. Everyone needs it. Everyone needs 45 bottles of Rejuvenate oil, just saying. Hair transformation mask, because she is not going to do keratin anymore and she wants to get her curls back to her normal 3B pattern. Advanced hydration shampoo, super nourish conditioner, and air dry cream. She also did the Unknot Detangler as an OFY for this month.
Any insight on Rejuvenate Light versus Original?
So she has an oily scalp. So I went with the light because she has such an oily scalp. She just texted me today. She used all of her products and she loves them. So sell 5 for me on this rec.
For styling, we said air dry cream for this one.
Yep.
Okay, we have 6 of these, you guys, so we're gonna speed it up. This is Taryn. She's currently using Soapbox coconut oil, curly, thick and coarse, low porosity, 4A curl pattern. She's natural, no chemicals, does not use protective styles or colors. Washes 1 to 2 times a week. Normal scalp, air dries, and she wants to repair damage. This is a very like lacking information quiz taker. So do the best you can. In this situation, I literally asked her like a couple more questions because I was like, this ain't enough, but the duo plus the mask, oil, air dry cream. The duo, wow. Lots of duos. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, like, I mean, I can talk about this at the end, but I rarely recommend the duo together. I'm not saying it's not correct to do that. And I have VIPs who are using the duo and they love it. I just caution it because the Super Moisture line is very heavy Like, that's why it's so good, the Super Nourish line. So if you have somebody who's not used to having that much oil and moisture on their hair, or someone who like straightens their hair a lot, even though they're curly, like when I'm going to straighten my hair, I never use the Super Nourish Duo because it's just like too greasy. I don't know if that's helpful, how to explain that, but what we recommended was Rejuvenique Oil, Renew Shampoo, Intense Repair Conditioner, Super Moisture Mask, and Curl Cream. Okay, so Renew Shampoo because the GOAT. And here we did Intense Repair Conditioner and Super Moisture Mask because her main concern was the damage repair and not the necessarily dryness. Now, I want to point something out that in this situation, I almost went the other way. I almost went Renew Shampoo, Super Nourish Conditioner, and Hair Transformation Mask. The only reason I didn't do that was because I followed up with her and I said, okay, I'm going back and forth between two conditioners. One is great for damage repair and one is great for moisture and curl definition. Which one do you want to prioritize? She said damage repair. So I gave her the IRT conditioner and then the super moisture mask as a treatment. So like always ask clarifying questions, and you don't have to like know everything, like let them help you make their rec, I guess. Okay. Rec number 4. This is Danny. I don't know if she's on the call, but she's on our team. Say hey, Danny, in the chat. I don't know if she's here, but go ahead, Rach.
Love Danny. So before Monat, she was using Shea Moisture. She's got curly hair. Her hair is thick. She's got high porosity hair. Curl pattern is a 3C. Her goals for her curls are moisture retention and curl definition. She does not have chemically treated curls. She wears braids and weaves as protective styles, doesn't color her hair, washes 1 to 2 times per week. Scalp is normal, has some shedding when she washes her hair, air dries, does not have a major concern. If you have anybody on your hair quiz that selects does not have a major concern and nothing else, you better be following up. Don't just take that with a grain of salt. Ask follow-up questions, because I guarantee you if you ask 3 follow-up questions, you're gonna have some major concerns. So with that being said, put some ideas in chat.
Oil, Super Nourish, Duro.
Duro.
The struggle. Renew, Super Moisture, Scrub for buildup. Love that, Karina. Super Nourish Oil. I love you. Okay, this is what we recommended. Renew Shampoo, Smoothing Conditioner, Super Moisture Mask, Leave-In Conditioner, and Moxie Mousse. Spoiler alert, Danny does not F with Restore Leave-In Conditioner anymore. She has totally converted to either Moxie Mousse or curl cream sometimes. Sorry, Rach, I kind of took over, but go ahead if you want to say.
No, it's totally fine. So this is what we originally recommended for Danny, but now Danny is obsessed with Advanced Hydration Shampoo and Super Nourish Conditioner. That is her routine now. That's what I love to use for my hair as well sometimes. So just because you recommend something on like the first go around, someone could love it. And then as their hair transitions and gets healthier, they might have different needs. So it's totally okay for someone to start out with one duo and then switch to something else a couple weeks later, or a couple months later rather.
Okay. This is Amanda. She's on this call. She's on my team. Everybody say, hey, Amanda, in the chat. She's awesome. This is her rec. Currently using a bunch of different stuff. Legit though. Curly, coarse, normal. Interprets her pattern to be 4C. Her goals are to fix the curls in the front and add more volume. She's natural. She wears a lot of protective styles, wigs and braids, washes once every 2 weeks. Scalp health is normal. After washing, will air dry or blow dry. Main concerns to repair damage, intense hydration, thicken and add volume. And Amanda has allergies. So let's consider that when we're dropping our recs in the chat. Let's see what you guys are thinking for Amanda. Amanda, you don't get to answer because you know the answer. I know you're on here. Renew, intense repair, smoothing. See, I love that. I love that we did 2 conditioners there. 100% possible. Any other guesses? Oil, love that. Black, we love that, Karina. Renew second wash, IRC super moisture. Okay, these are obviously getting harder, you guys, and the next one is even harder, so I hope y'all are prepared. Okay, so this is what we recommended, Amanda. Rejuvenique oil, black 2-in-1, 100% for exactly what Karina said. Build up and then also thickness. Renew shampoo for the second wash. You're like spot on, Karina. We did smoothing, deep conditioner, and replenish mask. Spoiler alert, Amanda uses super moisture and the super nourish line, even though she's allergic to nuts. It's okay. Just like someone said earlier, it's if your allergy isn't airborne, it's not that you can't use it, but we just let Amanda figure that out on her own and try it on her own. When she became an MP, like we didn't want to like give her the super moisture and risk that allergy. But this is essentially what she uses. And now I think, Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, she does switch back and forth between intense repair conditioner as well. And she loves super moisture mask. There she is. Hey girl, hey. Okay, last one, you guys. This is the toughest one. So just do your best and I think you'll be fine. Here we go.
Okay.
This is my cousin. The thing I want to say is you're going to see on this rec under protective styles, she wrote braids all the time. So her mother took the quiz for her. She's not this young anymore. She's like 17, but this was the only picture her mom had of her natural hair because literally for the past 5 years, she's been wearing braids nonstop because she's just not confident with her natural curls. So Rach, I'm gonna let you take this one.
I don't even know why you're letting me take your cousin's slide. Like you're so
I mean, half these people were my cousins on the slide, so it's fine.
Okay, currently using Shea Moisture and Cantu. Kinky coily curls, coarse texture, high porosity level, 4A curl pattern. Curl goals are to rock natural curls, have it look flawless while embracing my natural curls. Screw those Eurocentric standards. Chemically treated, absolutely not. Natural. Protective styles, braids all the time. Doesn't color, washes when braids are out, so one time every 2 to 3 months. Dry scalp, has them shedding, air dries after washing. Main concerns, control frizz, and dry, itchy scalp. No allergies.
Yeah, and just to clarify, like the wash thing is real. Like she'll wear braids for 8 to 12 weeks straight, take them out, wash once, maybe twice, maybe, before her next appointment where she puts her braids back in and goes another 2 to 3 months. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about what to recommend. I see lots of oil, which is like, yes, sis. ACV, we love that. Yes, you guys are getting good. Love that, Sabrina. Love that rec. Love that rec, Cal. Sydney, yup. You guys are right on par. Okay. We recommended a whole bunch of stuff. This VIP came through literally the weekend ACV came out, so it was perfect. And we did Rejuvenique oil, the entire ACV line for exactly what you guys are saying. She's gonna need that deep cleanse and the scalp scrub for when her hair is out of braids, which doesn't happen so often. Advanced hydration shampoo because the thirst is real. Super nourish conditioner, and then air dry cream. We know she's not using a ton of styling products because she's going right back into braids. So air dry cream will just give her that moisture in that in between time. hopefully this makes sense to everybody. Do they moisturize their braids usually? I mean, you can, I don't, and we're going to talk about locks too, like very quickly, but when I have braids in, no, I don't. I really just focus on moisturizing and taking care of my scalp because it is so exposed. Like think about the sun, like our scalp right now, only this is exposed. When I have braids in, my whole shit is exposed. Like it needs love and then it needs extra love when it comes out of the braids. Amanda agrees. Okay. Do you put the mask on your scalp while braids are in? No, I don't really wash my hair when my braids are in at all. Braids take forever to dry. They take like 7 years to dry if you get them wet. So I try to avoid that if I can. Some people wash their hair with braids in. I just want to say that, like, especially if they're keeping them in for like 12 weeks, they may wash their hair with braids in. In that situation, I might recommend black 2-in-1 as just like a quick one step for that. Yeah, Jazz washes with braids. I mean, everybody has their own preference. So we're going to get to questions. I promise. I know I didn't answer everything as they're coming through, but when we get to questions, ask them again. Other tips and tricks we just want to go over. I talked about this earlier, but don't assume, okay? If you're not sure, because they have so much going on, ask clarifying questions. Let them see your process. Like, let them see that you're saying to yourself, okay, I see these are your concerns and I have a solution for all these things, but I want to keep in mind, like, not overwhelming you with your first transition to our products. And I want to prioritize what's most important to you. So here's where I'm not sure, like, what do you think? I do this all the time and it's so helpful. The second thing is curls are a long game. I think more so than straight or wavy hair. When people switch to our products with straight or wavy hair, they might literally after the first wash be like, holy shiz. That is not like my experience with curls. It takes like my VIPs will get their stuff and they'll be like, okay, I'll let you know in like 3 months after I wash like 3 times. And the transformation and damage repair of curls, it's just a long game. So just make sure your VIPs know that. Black 2-in-1 and ACV we talked about. Restructuring line. Okay. Rachel's going to step in here too, but restructuring line is literally the most underrated line, I feel like, in my opinion, that we have in our arsenal of things. Restructuring line is what I use once a week currently because I'm also trying to repair my damaged curls from years of straightening. I guess what I'm trying to say is I never recommend the restructuring line really on the first recommendation, only because it's not a line that you can really use every single time you wash. So for the first recommendation, if I want to give them a taste of the restructuring line, I'll do the hair transformation mask. And then for the second one or the flagship, I'll say like, okay, did you like that mask? Like, let me get you with the line and you'll use this line once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever. Because using it too much can be drying. I don't know if you want to touch on that, Rach, at all.
I mean, anything, it's kind of like what your parents or guardians tell you growing up. Everything in moderation, right? Like you shouldn't use too much of anything. And that goes for our products too. Obviously, they're very concentrated. But like Asia said, this is something that you would recommend for like a flagship order, or if you do recommend it for them to use on their first order, make sure that you pair it with something else so they're not solely using the restructuring line. This is also something that I've discovered with my VIPs. It's either a hit or a miss. Sometimes they love the smell, sometimes they hate the smell, sometimes they like the results, sometimes they hate the results. So this is just something that me personally, and like feel free, anyone on this call who has experience with this, using it, who like loves it, hates it, whatever, put it in the chat. We love it. But with my VIPs, it's just such a toss-up that I don't like to recommend it as the sole one thing that anyone is going to use. I always pair it with something else. I cannot say how much I love transformation mask. Like, if I did not use a transformation mask, my curls would not have recoiled to how they looked when I was like 5 years old. So transformation mask, if anything, is what I would recommend for someone to use out of the line if they don't want to use the shampoo or the conditioner.
I want to address like 2 quick questions, even though we're going to get to the question part. But Sasha asked about the conditioner, because the restructuring line, it's like a pre-wash conditioner, which confuses people. I use the conditioner at the beginning and at the end, but at the end, I will sometimes mix it with like smoothing. But that's just like my personal preference. And then somebody else asked about shampoo, people who don't like to use shampoo. And thank you, Yasmin, for answering that question. But the other thing I want to say about that is like, this could be a whole nother training, but basically products that are marketed to Black women and people with curly hair have more chemicals in them literally than products that are marketed to straight or wavy hair people. And this is why a lot of curly girls don't like to use shampoo, because it does dry them out. So it is a thing when people say like, I don't like to shampoo all the time because it dries my hair out. With our products, the beauty of that is obviously they're naturally based. They actually provide, say everything Yasmin said is correct. They provide moisture as opposed to removing it. So a lot of curlies, because they haven't seen the light of what, can you guys mute? I can't even see who that is. A lot of curlies, because they haven't seen the light of what our products can do, everything they've used up until this point in terms of shampoo probably dries them out. So they're not really like understanding that our shampoos can be used every time you wash, because they're providing the nutrients that your hair needs. Hopefully that makes sense. But the reality of it is, I have been taught the same thing, that I don't have to shampoo my hair every time. And like, sometimes I don't shampoo every time because I'm lazy. But the fact of the matter is, that is a product of the fact that we've been using shitty products. I'm not naming names, but that's just what I want to say about that.
Melissa, can you mute, please?
Where is Melissa? I will mute her if I can find her.
There we go. We're good.
Okay. Sorry, Melissa, I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just talking. Okay, locks. So quickly touching on locks and wigs. Obviously, I don't have locks, so I'm not going to act like I'm the expert about how to manage locks. But what I do know is that similar to when people have protective styles and like braids, they're not washing like every single week or whatever. So Black 2-in-1 I know is a great shampoo, all-in-one things for people who have locks, and is also going to promote that growth, right? Or ACV, Rejuvenique Oil Always, Intense Repair Treatment Spray. I was supposed to put spray right there to help with that growth as well. Restore Leave-In Conditioner. I know this because I follow a lot of people on Instagram who do Monet and wear and have locks, and I know that they use this on their locks to moisturize them either after the shower or just on like a regular day when they're styling. And then Re-Sculpting Taffy for retwisting. So after your hair grows, when you have locks, you know, maybe it grows an inch, you have to like retwist it, and then whatever, it's a process. But basically for that process, I've heard that Re-Sculpting Taffy is good for that. Wigs, Amanda, if you're still here, drop your Instagram in the chat. Amanda is somebody who wears wigs a lot, and she uses our products on wigs. I mean, I think we know that our products can be used on wigs in some extensions. For wigs specifically, you're gonna wanna make the rec based off what type of wig you're wearing. So I'm not gonna go into that, but I asked Amanda to put her IG in the chat because she wears a lot of wigs as protective styles and can help with like questions about that if you have VIPs who are asking that. Okay, so much information. It's 8:13. We're gonna do questions. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so I can see people and like get my life together somehow.
Asia, as you're getting your life together, I'm just going to start with one of the questions that's been coming up in the chat about porosity and how you relate the porosity level to what you are recommending for somebody. Okay, so let's say that somebody has high porosity hair. That means that the cuticle layer of the hair, which is the outermost layer of the hair, is going to be. Can everybody mute? That means that the cuticle layer of your hair is going to be more open as opposed to being more closed. A closed cuticle layer is low porosity. So think about it as like water flowing, right? If you have open shingles on a roof, water's gonna get into your roof. If you have closed shingles on your roof, water's not gonna get into your roof. So think about it like that. That's porosity, okay? So when you're recommending things, folks who have high porosity hair are going to need more moisture. Every single person needs hydration. Hydration is how you maintain the health of the inner layers of the shaft. Every single person needs hydration. Now, the kicker is that people who have low porosity hair have trouble getting hydration into the hair shaft. So sometimes tips and tricks for people with low porosity hair is you need to have heat to open up the cuticle layer. So sometimes you'll sit in the shower with a treatment, a mask treatment on in the hot shower. So the steam and the heat help open up the cuticle layer. So the nutrients from the mask goes into your hair shaft, okay? People with high porosity hair, the cuticle layer is open. So it just flows right in. But high porosity hair folks have trouble closing that cuticle layer. So you're gonna need to layer your products like a mother effer, okay? So you might need to layer your products with more oil or more moisture or more cream-based products if you have high porosity hair. So you really seal off that cuticle layer and the hydration does not escape the hair shaft.
Yeah, Karina said shot of cold water at the end for high porosity, 100%. That helps to close that cuticle layer, like Rachel was saying. How do you know what porosity your hair is? Here's how I know. I have high porosity hair because literally the second I step out of the shower, that shit is halfway dry. Like it's basically dry. By the time I put my robe on and get to the sink and finish my face routine and take the towel off, I have to spray my hair with water to then add the products and do all those things Rachel was saying. Yep. So
the water test is you take a piece of like a strand of your hair in a cup of water, you drop your strand of hair, let it sit for like 5 minutes. If it sinks all the way to the bottom, you have high porosity hair because the cuticle layer is open. So it's letting water get into the hair shaft, therefore it sinks. If it sits like right on top, that means you have low porosity hair. If it's like floating, like in the middle, normal.
Somebody asked how much conditioner are curly girls supposed to use. So when I started and everyone was like a dime size emulsify, I was like, bullshit. I was wrong. That is a real thing. And here's the other thing I want to say, because I don't want you guys to think this is abnormal if somebody asks you this. I have cousins and people who are VIPs who will use who don't think that Restore is moisturizing enough when they get out of the shower. And they also don't think air dry cream and curl cream are either. Like I have a cousin who literally uses Super Moisture Mask as a leave-in conditioner. We would never advise somebody to do that because for most people, it's going to make your shit greasy if you leave it in and don't wash it out. But for some people with a really high porosity hair and a lot of people who are transitioning from another brand are used to the leave-in conditioner being just as thick as the in-shower conditioner. We don't really have a product that mimics an in-shower conditioner as a leave-in, if that makes sense. So it's not abnormal for curlies to use in-shower conditioner or in-shower masks as a leave-in. It's not going to hurt them by doing that. And if that's their preference, so be it. Hopefully that makes sense. Rachel, can you answer? Oh, wait, no. It was someone asked, Genesis asked, can you explain the good alcohols found in our products?
Ooh, I love this question. See how I just like perked up there? Okay, yes. So not all alcohols are bad. This is especially a good one. Okay, but for products, not all alcohols are bad. So some alcohols are fatty alcohols, and then some alcohols are drying alcohols. Your fatty alcohols are going to be your acetyl alcohol, your cetyl alcohol, your stearyl alcohol, right? So like fatty acids, think like omega-3s, right? Like some alcohols are derived from fatty things and lipids, and they're derived from plants, right? Like they're going to provide slip in the shower, like that term slip, right? Has everyone heard that? Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard, oh, I need more slip. Yeah. Yes, okay. Some of that comes from fatty alcohols, okay? Your drying alcohol is going to be ethanol or isopropyl alcohol, things that you use to like literally clean shit, okay? Those are not in our products. So you also have alcohols that are preservatives. And because we have naturally based products, you need some sort of preservative system because our products only last for 12 months. So yeah. Again, I don't want to take too much of your time, but like obviously you just saw I got so excited that someone asked that question. So please talk to me offline and I will tell you everything that you need to know about alcohols and products.
Yes. Okay. We're going to do a couple more questions and then wrap up because it's been an hour and some change. But 2-in-1, would I recommend it with another shampoo? I always do, unless they're like short hair, like, you know, how we recommend it to men. And sometimes that's their only thing. Like, that's fine. It's not a bad thing, but black shampoo can be drying on the scalp. So I usually pair it with another shampoo. When using the transformation mask, what order do you use it in? When I'm using any of my masks, and I learned this from my beautiful, smart upline, Rachel Hurd, my order is shampoo, mask, leave the mask on, don't rinse it out, put the conditioner on over the mask to seal the cuticle layer and keep the nutrients in, and then rinse out the mask and the conditioner all together. That's my routine. It's not the only way to use masks. As you guys know, we can use our masks on dry hair. So that's just the way I use it. Someone asked what products are good for people who have oily scalp but dry hair. I would need to know what the rest of the rec is, but Rejuvenique oil to balance the pH, and then maybe advanced hydration for the shampoo. Jazz, please do more calls like this. Okay, so yes, we're gonna send the recording, and this is like my other little disclaimer, which I love you all so dearly, so I don't want you to take this personally or take it the wrong way. But essentially, will we do more of these trainings? Maybe, but like also similar to like, you know, just fighting racism in America, like this information is available to you on the internet. So I highly encourage you to do your own research. The information exists. I mean, you could go so deep with this. You could go to the root of why Black women were using relaxers in the 90s. Like it's all connected. And so like, I just say that to say, there's a lot to this. There's a lot to curls. There's a lot to taking care of curls and treating curls. So do your own research, you guys. Take pride in it, and you should want to run your business in an inclusive way that you can help everybody and not just people who have hair types like the one that you have, even if that's maybe your client base right now. So that is all we have. We will do something with this recording. Kristen has it, so we'll get it from her. And we appreciate all you guys getting on. Hopefully you have our IGs. If you have more questions, we will help as much as we can, but definitely get on the Googs, do your research. And now that's all I have. I'm gonna go celebrate Rachel on another Zoom because she's engaged or something. I don't know, it's cool. All right, love you all. Thank you.
Bye, y'all. Have a good night.
Bye.